Hey everyone, what a load of crock. CBC News headline: NB employers have jobs they can't fill, so they're looking south for job seekers. Hundreds of people turned up at New York City job fair organized by Moncton area employers. So, I am from New Brunswick, okay? And let me tell you, you have to pay someone an actual livable fucking wage. Now, housing costs are definitely much cheaper there, but food, everything else outside of the roof over your head, and if you live in a major city in New Brunswick like Fredericton or Moncton, the prices are even getting up as far as rent costs, rental fees, and rental costs, pretty close to some of the major urban centers in the rest of Canada. So, and when you're looking at like in a place like Ontario, like you can buy 3 bags of milk, which equals up to 4 liters of milk, for like $4, little 4.50. Place like New Brunswick, you can pay $7 for that. And like I tell you, a lot of the foods and a lot of the consumable goods that people need, right, and require are much more expensive. So the cost of living, even though the roof over your head is still a little bit less, in some of the rural areas, quite a bit less, but in any of the major cities, they're not that much less that you would think that, oh, well, you could pay these people a lot lower wages. No, you still need to make a fairly decent wage to even be considered a livable wage, even to be considered working poor in that province. And trust me, I know all about it because, like I said, I'm from there. But when you're talking about how they have to look to the U.S., what it is basically McCain's and the Irvings basically run between the government and McCain's and the Irvings. That would represent almost the bulk, the largest majority of any employers and employees in the entire province, either work for the government or one of the two major crony corporations in that province. Like I say, the Irvings and the McCain's. Small businesses, actually that particular part of Canada, especially that province, has been declining, not just stagnating, but declining as far as its economic growth and prosperity, even since I was a kid. If I go there now, and even because I remember how it was growing up, and I lived there for many years, even as an adult, it was a continual decline. Communities shrank. There were less businesses. There were less services. Constantly just keeps going away. So there's nobody left there. Plus, because they still use mandatory minimums and punish. I'm the type person, I was forced out of my home and everything because of having a few beer on my ATV. So, but now they're looking at people. See, I was a productive member in this very small society in that rural community of New Brunswick. So my paycheck provided for a lot of people because the government stole a portion of that to provide for everyone else. But because they still want to fuck with people like me and use mandatory minimums and preemptive punishments, well, I don't even have the ability to take care of people, even though it shouldn't be my responsibility. They should be able to take care of themselves. And add into the fact that the entire budget for the province of New Brunswick, last time I checked, was 46% of the entire budget comes from transfer payments from the have provinces, the ones that actually produce more than they consume, right? Like I say, it's a fucking shithole place. So what are they looking for? Maybe some people that are some of the immigrants that are trying to leave the U.S. now, they're just looking for dirt cheap labor that's only going to make things worse in that fucking province, because it's not like these people are in that province and grew up and have families. Like I say, they're destroying every aspect and how humans are supposed to flourish and coexist and create self-sustaining societies or communities. That can't happen when you have central planners that get to dictate who can win and lose in those particular situations. That's what it comes down to. So no, you don't need to look to the U.S. for employees. What you need to do is force these employers to fucking have to pay a livable wage. Stop giving them the fucking easy out. That's what governments keep doing, is they keep giving these corporations or these motherfucking crony fucks and these lobbyists, they keep lobbying the government because they don't want to put in the hard work and effort, or they recognize how difficult it is to create and sustain a business. Well, look, go against the fucking government instead of keep using them as a means to an end. This is the problem that I see from all these fucking supposed business leaders, is they keep looking to the central planning model instead of the people. Because with the central planning model, they can force people. With market forces, market fundamentals, they have to try to ask or entice or offer things to the people, right? It's much easier to use the heavy hand, the heavy fist, than to use common sense, logic, or negotiations. And that's really what it's coming down to. I'll read a little bit in the article. I don't have to read much. I'll post a link to it in the video description below so you can read it. But let's just start in and see kind of where they're trying to paint this a little bit. Moncton has pledged its low cost of living and maritime charm to prospective employees before, but in the days after the U.S. election, the New Brunswick City took its pitch to a new audience, Americans. So yeah, right? Like I said, they're looking for cheap labor that might be trying to leave the U.S. because the U.S. is trying to weed some of these fuckers out because they're trying to protect their own people. Canada's like, no, we don't care about fucking protecting our own people. Come on in. We'll screw each other up all the time as long as we can get more revenue, more tax serfs and slaves, right? Motherfuckers. At the center of the pitch to would-be workers, an ad portraying the fictional Uncle Sam with a Canadian flag in the background. The caption below, Greater Moncton, New Brunswick wants you. New Brunswick, on the whole, has seen a decline in population in recent years, but the Moncton area has grown and recently surpassed St. John's, the biggest city in the province. Yeah, it's declining tremendously because it's just a bunch of old people and government fucking workers down there. Or fucking, like I say, allowing free market fundamentals, allowing freedom to flourish and exist is how you would fix this situation in not just New Brunswick, but Nova Scotia, a lot of the have-not provinces. But like I said, these central planners, they don't want to relent. They don't want to release control or their dominance over the economy or the society. And like I say, you're going to see the continued decline and destruction of these particular parts of the country as a result. The city's advanced telecommunications infrastructure, bilingual workforce, and low cost of doing business have turned it into a software hub, but a shortage of skilled workers has been a challenge for local businesses. Like I said, there's no shortage. I mean, even a lot of the people that were in the oil patches, right? A lot of skilled workers right now that would be looking to fill these jobs, but what it is, they'd be expecting a higher rate of pay or wages. So, like I said, it's a race to the bottom that the only people who win are government fucks and crony corporatists. That's about it. It's up to us to stand up and speak out against this. I do my part. I hope you will do yours by helping to. If you don't have much to say, well, just share what I have to say by sharing my videos. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.